Thank you very much for the voice submission. You have 2 questions. Are there any free software that offers this kind of live noise reduction capability? And 2, are there any mics that would be more ideal for your environment? No, not that I'm aware of. And yes, but ignore my advice. Number 1, I don't know of any software that allows for that real-time live noise reduction that is free. I'm not aware of it. If anybody does know, comments on YouTube, let us know what software that is. How do they get away with doing it? How do they get off? How dare you ask them that question? And mics that would be more ideal for a noisy environment. The Rode Procaster you mentioned, that does an incredible job with background noise rejection at around 180 degrees. So if you pointed that towards the train, that would be ideal. That would be an improvement. However, with that being said, I'm going to tell you what you don't want to hear. You do not want to hear this. I'm assuming you do not want to hear this. Don't buy anything. Do not buy anything new. What you have demonstrated is with the tools you have, you are able to get very usable, very listenable, and high-quality audio. When you enabled, why was I unable to say that? When you enabled the noise reduction, I didn't hear the train, which in my opinion is quite impressive because it was very noticeable when you didn't have that engaged. The reason I'm pointing that out, you're trying to resolve a problem that you've already solved. The noise rejection that the Blue Voice software is doing didn't seem to be degrading your audio to any noticeable level, to any level where your audience would say, oh gosh, I can't listen to this. There's too little background noise. Oh, it's eating into his vocal frequencies. This is unacceptable. You don't need to. So I'm recommending you don't. You don't need to spend money on anything. On top of that, this analog gear, the SM7B, the Procaster, they don't come with any software plugins like the Blue Voice software. So you would need to invest not just in the microphone, but in an audio interface that has some form of DSP processing. And as of right now, there is the Focusrite Vocaster 2, which apparently does allow you to adjust the processing. They rolled out an update. I haven't tested that yet, but I don't think that has any kind of spectral denoise, which is what it sounds like the Blue Voice software is doing. You have the Lewitt Connect 6. Again, it doesn't have any kind of spectral denoise. It has an expander, but it's not a spectral denoise. I don't know of any free software that does that. So you would need to even with Universal Audio, they don't have spectral denoise. What you would have to do is likely get some form of interface. Maybe, I don't know if the Elgato Wave XLR, which I think they allow VST processing. I'm just working through this in real time. I think it allows for VST processing. And maybe you could get RX voice denoise and train it but then you would need to have the train going to train it of that noise profile. You would need some kind of gate as well. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to emulate that with other stuff. So my advice is don't do it. Don't buy new equipment while you are where you are. Because you already have the solution. It's already worked out. You're not asking me to do this. This is how I'm interpreting it. You're looking for advice on how to throw a wrench into a well-oiled machine because you have already gotten all the kinks worked out. And by buying a bunch of new equipment, you will have to resolve all those issues. You will have to find those solutions again with different tools. Don't do it. When you move, go forth, rock and roll when you have a quieter environment, but don't throw a wrench into the production just for the sake of throwing a wrench into the production. Don't do it. Then you ask, or you say you want a slightly darker tone. The Blue Voice software has a little bit of an EQ, so do a high shelf cut. 1.5 dB, pull down a little bit of those higher frequencies, and you will be golden. All right, thank you very much, Mildly, for the voice emission. Appreciate you. Hopefully that helped and saved you a little bit of money.
Hi, Bandrew. I've been watching your videos on Podcastage for a number of years now, and recently began to watch and listen to this Bandrew Says podcast as well. I'm an aspiring content creator looking to start a podcast, and I was wondering if you could provide me with some advice. Right now, I'm using a Blue Yeti Nano USB mic, which comes with live EQ software with the Blue Voice app that I'm using right now to create the submission. Unfortunately, I live less than 6 meters away from one of the busiest train lines in Tokyo, but with the live noise reduction plugin that comes with the Blue Voice app, at least with my speakers and headphones, it seems to get more or less cut out completely, which is extremely convenient for me since it removes the need for me to try and run the noise reduction plugin in Audacity in post, which also doesn't seem to be quite as effective as the noise reduction function in the Blue Voice app. Here's an audio sample of the trains passing outside my window without the noise reduction running. Okay, the train is passing. That was without the denoiser. And here's one with the noise reduction. Okay, the train is passing right now. I don't know if this is audible. The train is passing. I think the change is quite drastic. I'd also like to note that this is just with the noise reduction. There is no noise gate engaged. And when the trains are running at peak frequency, I can get them passing by my window every 2 minutes or even 1 minute. So I've been wanting to upgrade my setup with an audio interface and a dynamic XLR mic, such as the Rode Procaster or the Shure SM7B, preferably something with darker qualities. But I'm concerned, since this will be a substantial financial investment made even more problematic by the awful exchange rates. And despite the quality of the mics themselves, I'm not sure if there are any suitable replacements for the live noise reduction functionality given by the Blue Voice app. And with the rampant train noise in the background, I fear that any gains in quality with the mic upgrade will be just completely wiped out. So my two questions are, number one, are there any free or affordable options available that will allow me to gain this kind of live noise reduction even with an XLR mic? And two, barring that, or in addition to that, are there any specific microphones or kinds of microphones that will be friendlier for use in my current environment? Or am I doomed to my current setup until I move to an environment more amenable to audio recording? Thanks for answering my question, if you choose to do so, and that's it.